Let's jump into some NBA though, Brett. We just talked about a thrilling affair on Sunday night between the Wizards and the Nets. So we have a few lines for the games that are going to go on Monday. Which ones are your early favorites? Because we have more lines than we typically have the night before Monday action.
Yeah, definitely more lines. Well, actually, the Timberwolves and the Cavs are playing on Sunday night, Higgins, but the spread is out for Monday, and Cleveland's a 5 point favorite. I kind of like that, but I'm not picking it because as we're talking about this game, a game is going on between these two teams. So injuries can happen, other things can happen. Not going to touch it right now, but Cleveland's healthier. Cleveland's playing well. Minnesota's struggling a little bit. Let me give a live score. Minnesota's actually up 102-94 on Sunday night. So I do like Cleveland to potentially bounce back on Monday as well. But again, I'm gonna wait for that game to finish before I really bet it. But in terms of a game I am on, Higgins, how about the Blazers and the Bucks? Dame Lillard versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. That interesting at all? Maybe a little bit.
I think it's interesting enough. I mean, you draw Giannis out towards half court to try to block a shot late game. That's always interesting seeing Dame pull up from 40 and Giannis try to save the game with his defense and long stretch.
Yeah, well, I think Dame Lillard can go off any night, and Milwaukee's struggled covering some of these spreads recently, so I'm gonna take Portland plus 10. Not my greatest play here because the Blazers are a little banged up, but I'm really just going on. Dame Lillard can just get hotter than you, and I don't want to bet against that. So I want to watch that game tomorrow or Monday night, Higgins, between the Blazers and Bucks. So I want a little action on it.
It's always nice to watch some West versus East Coast matchups as well. I mean, is that going to be a finals preview? Probably not, but you never know what the Trailblazers could do. I mean, like you said, Lillard gets hot, and when Lillard gets hot, he's impossible to stop, really. So, very interesting game there, Brett. I'm sticking on the East Coast, though, with my first pick in the Hornets versus the Heat game, and I'm going to take the road dog in Miami. Charlotte plus 176 on the money line. They're 5 point dogs on the spread, Brett. And I just think that Charlotte's a little bit healthier. I mean, you see Harkless, Myers Leonard, Chris Silva, they're all already listed as out for the Miami Heat. And then you have Andre Iguodala and Gabe Vincent listed as day to day. The Hornets, they only have Terry Rozier listed as day to day, so a little bit healthier. They just got some big wins against the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers. Meanwhile, the Miami Heat did win their most recent game against the Sacramento Kings, but they're 2-8 in their past 10 games. They're going to have to prove it a little bit more to me before I take them in a moneyline scenario like this. So give me the underdog that's played a slightly better and has beaten two quality teams recently.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate here, Higgins, just so everyone has all the information and knows that Jimmy Butler has just come back from Miami, so I do expect them to improve. Now, when that's all gonna actually click, I don't know. You don't know, right? But so I think taking Charlotte, who has played competitive and has outperformed expectations at plus 176, that's a fair play. But I do expect Miami, you mentioned their record. I do expect them to get better now that Jimmy Butler is back on the court off of COVID protocol.
And if you're not as bold as I, don't want to take the Hornets necessarily on the money line, want to go with the spread. Some numbers for you here. The Hornets are 10-9 against the spread this season. The Heat, they're 6-11-1, so they're not doing as well against the spread. Maybe if you're not as bold as I, the smarter play might be to just take the Hornets plus 5 and not have to worry about them winning the game overall. But again, like I said, the Heat being 2-8 in their past 10 games, they have to prove it a little bit more to me before I'm going to side with them in a game like this. And I think the Hornets, they're playing pretty well, so I'm going to be cheering for them in this one.
Higgins, I think that's totally fair. I just wanted to point it out so everyone knew what may have contributed to a rough start for Miami. Also, Miami probably overachieved a little bit last year in the bubble, so there's a little bit of regression too. So, both sides.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm going to also take a game on the West Coast. This game takes place in New Orleans, though, so it's not a true West Coast game, I guess you can say. But Sacramento Kings, they're traveling to New Orleans to face off against the Pelicans. And Brett, the Pelicans minus 3.5 just feels like the play here. I mean, the Kings, they're not great against the spread. They're 8-10 on the season, whereas the Pelicans, they're 7-10, so they're about the same. And the Kings, this is their last game of a road trip that featured games against Orlando, Toronto, which they both won, but most recently they just lost to Miami in a close game. Will they be motivated in their last of a 4-game stretch on the road to win against the Pelicans? I'm not so sure. So minus 3.5, that's not too big of a line for me. I keep seeing the Pelicans seem to have their chemistry and continue to increase with their new coach and with everything going on. I like the Pelicans this year. I'm going to keep betting on them for a little bit longer. I think they're going to straighten some things out, and minus 3.5 really is not that big of a line in this game.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning Pelicans in this one. What's keeping me away from this Higgins personally is just the fact that those trade rumors all came out the other day about JJ Redick and potentially Lonzo Ball and a
Mm-hmm.
few others. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to bet on a team with trade rumors right now, but I do like the fact that you pointed out it is the last game of Sacramento's road trip, and sometimes you're ready to go home after the game and you just like want to fast forward a little bit. I'm not saying that happens every time, but it happens. So it's not crazy to think it could happen in this situation, Higgins. And it's also not crazy to think that Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson are just too much for Sacramento to handle defensively. They're not great defensively anyway.
Sometimes you just want your own bed. And that desire can be really strong. And like you said, Sacramento, their defense hasn't been great. They're averaging just under 120 points a game.
Well, I guess it's better than 146, 147, so.
But yeah, Pelicans minus 3.5. That's going to be my play here. So I'm taking one home team and one road team so far on Monday in the NBA.
Nice. Well, Higgins, I guess I'll follow your lead because the next game I'm on, I think I'll take a home team. Dallas hosts the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix just beat Dallas over the weekend, Higgins. Dallas needs this win. They look lost out there right now. They are not the team that many people thought they'd be coming out of the gate. I think Seth Curry leaving has really hurt this team because the Sixers look great and Dallas is struggling. So clearly that's made an impact. But I think Dallas, again, it's a game in January. I don't want, or February, excuse me, but I don't want to call it a must-win game, but they need to come out and prove some of their doubters wrong because people are turning on this team, and this team's supposed to be contending with Luka Doncic, and right now they're towards the bottom in the standings. Higgins.
Yeah, to be honest, the Mavs, they've burnt me a few times recently. So the proof's got to be in the pudding, I think, before I place another bet with the Mavs. I got to see them win. I got to see them cover a little bit. -1 at home. They should win at home, but Phoenix, they've been surprising a lot of people. They played well in the bubble, went 8-0 in the bubble, and they're showing that they like this young group of guys that they have, and they're trying to show off that they can do it again this year.
Yeah, Phoenix is playing well, absolutely. And like we said, they just beat the Mavs over the weekend, so it's not crazy to think that Phoenix can come out and do it again, but I think Dallas is the motivated team in this one, and it's really you're the home team, you're the motivated team, you need a win. Go get this win.
Dallas absolutely should be the motivated team here. You are right, Brett.